rather than having one guy. Basically, we've got one guy that's going out and he's basically still in control of the country. It's completely outrageous. Hey everyone, Canadian Renegade here. Quick video today about Trudeau and his Senate appointees. It looks like he's going to be stacking the deck before he leaves office, and I have some concerns about that. So I'd like to discuss it. It's not brand new news. This is a couple-day-old news, but I don't know how widely this was circulated on mainstream media, so I thought I would talk about it. I have an article here from Global News. It says, Trudeau to appoint new senators before successor is chosen. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will appoint a final group of senators to fill vacancies in the upper chamber before he resigns. His office confirmed to Global News on Monday. I'm going to skip ahead in the article. There's quite a bit of kind of redundant and repetitive information, but this is the concerning part here. All but 21 of the 97 currently sitting senators in the 105-seat chamber are Trudeau appointees. Just 12 senators are affiliated with the Conservative Party, so 21 of the 97 have already been appointed by Trudeau, and it looks like he'll be appointing another 10. So we're going to have, maybe by the end of Trudeau's stint as Prime Minister here, we're going to maybe have 80% of the Senate or more appointed by Trudeau. And this is a real problem because I think that Pierre Poilievre is going to win. You know, the Conservative Party is going to win probably fairly convincingly in the next election. But if the Senate can just block any legislation that the Conservatives put forward because it's been stacked with a bunch of radical leftists by Trudeau, how are we going to get anything done? And more onto the gun issue, how are we going to reverse some of this legislation? Like, there's no way that the senators that passed the handgun freeze are going to pass a bill to unfreeze the handgun freeze, right? It doesn't make any sense. They're not going to go against their whatever instincts or whatever you want to call it. And you know, I get that. I get that, you know, the whole checks and balances thing of having a Senate, but Trudeau only got about 32% of the popular vote or something like that, or Liberals, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And Conservatives actually had, I think, 1 or 2% more of the popular vote in the last election. So to have a Senate that is 80 or 90% Liberal, or let's say just left. I mean, if only 12 out of 105 are conservative, then that probably, everybody else is left of conservative. That probably means that 90% is going to be left-leaning senators. And then we wonder why we can never make any progress when we get a conservative leader in, because the Senate is stacked up with a bunch of communists, basically. And to me, this is completely undemocratic. I would much like to see maybe more of like a United States system. I believe in the United States, they have, I think it's the, of course now I can't find the word now that I'm talking to a camera. I think it's the governors of the states that select the senators, and I believe it's 2 per state. So if you're in a Republican state, then you'll end up with Republican senators and so forth. To just have the Prime Minister choose all the senators. And the thing that's really crazy about this is I thought that the number was very high. Like, my understanding is once you've become a senator, that's an appointment for life unless you resign or die. And so I'm going to get away from this article. There's not a whole lot more that's, valid in this article for this discussion, but I looked it up, and there's only 2 people in the history of Canada, 2 prime ministers that have appointed more senators than Trudeau already has, and he's going to do 10 more. And that was John A. Macdonald, who was the first prime minister, he appointed 92 senators. He was prime minister for, I think it was 19 years. Okay. And then there was one other, I'm just looking at the list right now. There was one other prime minister, William Mackenzie King. He appointed 103 senators, and he was prime minister for 20 years. So if Trudeau appoints these 10 more senators that they're expecting, he'll have appointed 109 senators in 9 years, and William Mackenzie King appointed 103 senators in 20 years. So, like, to me, it's just weird. I mean, I'm not going to like jump to conclusions or anything, but I mean, I didn't realize that the turnover in the Senate was that high. I thought that people, once they became senators, they wanted to stay senators. Did that many people pass away? Like, I just don't understand how you've got, I don't think that they're all, geriatric when they become appointed as senator. I just don't understand why you've got that level of turnover. Like, that's almost like, that's like a 90% turnover rate in a 9-year period in the Senate. It's a little weird, isn't it? I don't know. There's something, it almost seems fishy. Like I said, I'm not going to say, like, I have no proof of anything, of course, but it's just a little weird that it's so convenient for the leftist agenda that this Senate is just completely packed by Trudeau appointees. And I don't know what we can do about it other than putting a ton of pressure on our MPs and the senators themselves once the Conservatives get in to maybe do some sort of Senate reform. But in order for them to do that, I believe they have to get the provinces on board as well. So I just don't know what the solution here is. But we just need to stay active, guys, and especially if we believe in having gun rights, proper gun rights, not this permission slip type of nonsense that we've got now here in Canada. We've got to just, once the Conservatives get in, and even before, we've got to just keep putting more political pressure on everybody to make some changes, because we need to let the Senate know, like, you will not block bills that the people want, right? Because I can just see I can just see this happening. I can see it's very discouraging. I could see Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives getting a very large majority and then being completely hamstrung for the next 4 or 5 years by the Senate, not get much done, and then people will be disappointed in the Conservatives. They'll be like, well, you promised us all this stuff and you didn't deliver, but it's not their fault, right? And then people will be like, well, maybe we'll give, a more left-leaning government more of a shot because you guys didn't make much progress in the direction that you said in terms of, inflation and living standards and economy. You guys didn't really do what you said you were going to do. It's like, but it would be because they're blocked the entire time from getting anything substantial done. And then we could just end up right back into a leftist government. And to me, it's just crazy that we have a minority government that can actually get stuff done. And then we could end up with a conservative government that can't get anything done, even though they might have like a supermajority. It's infuriating. That's all I got to say. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but this is outrageous in my opinion. And we've got to just keep telling all of our MPs, all of the senators, all the time, we want to change this. We want some sort of we want to either vote in the senators ourselves, or we want the provinces, like the leaders of the provinces, to pick the senators for the provinces, rather than having one guy. Basically, we've got one guy that's going out and he's basically still in control of the country. It's completely outrageous. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you later.